Check me out with the fresh trim then. Gorgeous. Anyway, I'm at Southwick Park. I'm in the car at the moment. I have had a bee in my bonnet all afternoon to get out fishing. And this afternoon it started raining. Only drizzle, it's not heavy rain, but it's been a bit persistent all afternoon. Anyway, keen as mustard, loaded the car up in between cooking dinner. Dinner's done, everything's washed out, I'm in the car and I'm gone. Now I'm here and I'm sat in the car park and it's still raining. I'm thinking, what am I doing? But I have got a shelter. I just want to get the other opposite end of the lake to where I was. I don't want to be up by the bridge. Just don't think there's a volume of fish there. It's a short evening trip. It's nearly 5 o'clock. I've got about 3 hours and that includes getting there. So I think I've just got to get out of the car, brave it, get a few raindrops on the new shiny head and get down there. Right, I'll see you when I get down there. So this is the plan. I'm back down at Southwick Park, but instead of going to the bridge like I normally do, I've actually done what I usually do in the summer and come down to the boathouse. All around the boathouse, the margins usually fish well, and the open water out in front. There's a few fish jumping about, there's a few bubbles coming up. So I thought today, instead of sticking 2 rods out on the bottom, sitting back and waiting for something to happen, I'm actually going to bait up a couple of margins, set up a stalking rod with something like a bread bomb, a sinking bread bomb. And if I can get anything feeding close in the margins, I can just lower a bread bomb over the bubbles and sort of wait for the line to twitch. I just want to catch something a little bit different. It's going to give me a little taste of summer. If I can catch something that way, maybe. I'm not seeing anything cruising around on the surface, but I've got a feeling if I can get them feeding close in the edge, then I can stalk one out that way. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to set a rod up. I've already baited the margins up, and I am going to set up a rod now and be ready. And I'm just going to keep visiting. It's in 2 swims, 2 adjacent swims. The margins are baited up, and I'm just going to keep flitting from one to the other, keep an eye on it, look for tail patterns. It's only shallow, it's probably only 2 foot deep, so a double figure carp upended, it's going to be showing me. So yeah, enough talking, more setting up. And there we have it, we're set up. And that there is my bread bomb. Most people associate a bread bomb with fishing on the surface, but I don't. I think when I'm fishing on the bottom like this, over bubbles and stuff like that, a decent sized bit of bread, even if the water's murky like it is today, they're going to see it. And if this is on the bottom, one, I know that because of the bread bomb, the bait isn't going to fall out. It stays in there really well. It's not just going to fall off the hook. And secondly, I know that that hook point is exposed. It's never going to get masked by the actual bread itself. So not just for surface fishing, definitely for fishing on the bottom as well. So we're ready to go. Got a couple of slices of bread in the pocket. I've just had a look at the spot that I baited on that side, and you can see the little bits of oil rising to the surface, but no vortexes and no bubbles as yet. There were some bubbles inside the little channel that leads into the boathouse, so I've just put a dozen 1-inch size pieces of bread crust in the channel, just in case there's any held up inside there. And now with the hook in the keeper ring and the net in hand, I'm just going to flip between the 2 swims, keep my eyes open and see if we can find an opportunity. It is absolutely gorgeous down here today. Fishing's been slow. I've seen 1 or 2 fish cruising around. I've had a few casts in their path. They've just carried on going. Haven't found anything feeding in the edge. I've seen a few patches of bubbles out in the lake. I've probably spent the first hour and a half just wandering up and down, just enjoying the atmosphere. It's just gorgeous here today. And right here I've got an overhanging tree to my left and an overhanging tree to my right. Obviously a load of open water in front. I've flicked a few pieces of bread out, about 3 rod lengths out in front of me. And I've got some pellets and broken boilies in each margin. And I'm quite happy just to sit here and watch. I've got bread in my pocket in case I see anything come up on the surface. And I don't know if you can see that, but right there, that's the bread bomb, small bread bomb. And it's perfect for putting a 15mm boilie in it. So if I see anything fizzing over the top of these baited patches in the margins, I can just free line that and then watch for the line to twitch. Because that bread bomb is made out of clear silicone, when it's on the bottom, with all the silt being stirred up and everything, they can't see that. Absolutely perfect. There you go, guys. We've had a bit of a result tonight. That is a corking fish. I haven't weighed it. I don't really do numbers, but I know that's over 20 pounds. And 20 pound out of this lake. They're becoming more common, but not something that I've had a lot of in the past. Certainly not. That is absolutely tremendous. I baited up them margin spots. Stayed there for about an hour. Nothing happened. So I moved off, went down the other end of the lake in search. Sat in a couple of swims. Nothing really happened. Came back and I saw a few fish feeding on the spot, but I put the pellets in earlier. So I had a little bit of free lining over the top of the pellets. And just to my left behind the reeds I saw a couple of swirls. Dropped down a bit of free lined bread flake. And bang! Bread bomb. The bread bomb does it. Proper chuff with that. That's a proper result. So I came down here with a plan. Plan was to come down for a few hours this evening. It was raining, and when I looked at the forecast it didn't look like it was going to stop anytime soon. When I got here I sat in the car park, keen as mustard to get fishing, but I was sat in the car park with rain falling on the windscreen wondering what am I doing. But I got out, I loaded the barrow, I pushed it down, and the idea, I've got 2 rods with me and all my bottom fishing stuff, but I also packed a stalking rod, a little reel, and my little bread bomb kit and half a loaf of bread, and I just thought, if I can catch one stalking on my terms, in the edge, maybe free lining on the bottom or on the surface, that would be really cool. That would signify the start of spring. This is not me trying to bore it out with 2 rods on the bottom, loads of bait around it, wait to get them feeding and get a run, but to actually watch the fish take the bait and strike. And I baited up the margin spots in the boathouse swim, and I suppose I spent best part of an hour here just flitting between the 2 swims, nothing feeding on the inside, a few fish cruising around out in front, but not a lot. I threw the bread bomb about a few times, but nothing was interested. So I loaded the barrow, went for a walk, fishing off the barrow with that one stalking rod. Again, I could have easily baited up a couple of spots in the margins, stuck a couple of rods down, a couple of pop-ups or something, and just waited for it to happen. But I didn't. I sat there. Did have one fish feeding underneath an overhanging tree. I put about 12 bits of crust out, and I think it took about 3 or 4 of them, but didn't take the hook bait, unfortunately. So I came back to the boathouse swim and spotted the margins rocking. Fantastic feeling when you come back and they're there. It's like, quickly get the rod set up, get the net set up. And I started free lining the boilie on the bottom. The line twitched a few times, but nothing happened. And then I saw a swirl to my left just behind the reeds. So I whipped off the boilie, put a bit of bread crust inside the bread bomb, and just lowered it down over the reeds. A pair of lips come up, took it. Didn't know what the fish was, whether it was a big one or a small one. Turns out it was an absolutely glorious common. That has definitely made my year so far. Best fish so far this season. Over the moon. And I said I was going to fish until about 8 o'clock. I've just looked at the time and it's like 4 minutes past 8. So that's it. No more fishing tonight. I've got first. It's Tuesday. Working tomorrow night, and I've got Tuesday evening free. So I think I'll come down on Tuesday and try and repeat the process. But that's it. I'm going to load the barrow up now, get on my toes home, and really fancy a cup of tea. Thanks for watching, guys.